Marcus Aurelius didn't write, "Be tolerably good and cruise through life." No, he said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Translation: stop aiming for the bare minimum. Nobody builds statues for average people, unless they were very average in a very funny way. Like the guy who invented lukewarm soup. Before we dive into why you should never settle for average, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and stick around till the end, because what you're about to hear could shift the trajectory of your life, even if you currently feel stuck in the middle lane of mediocrity. Number 1. The philosophy behind aiming higher. The Stoics weren't obsessed with being famous. They were obsessed with excellence. For them, mediocrity wasn't just forgettable. It was a waste of potential. Seneca wrote, "While we wait for life, life passes." If you're just okay with being okay, you're basically telling life, "No thanks, I'm good with the demo version." Think about it. Nobody ever stares at a gray wall and says, "Wow, I want to be just like that." And yet, most people live their lives as walking gray walls. Inoffensive, forgettable, average. Stoicism calls you to rise above that, to master your emotions, sharpen your thoughts, and become someone worth remembering. Aiming higher isn't about ego, it's about purpose. When you commit to becoming excellent, you respect your potential. You honor the gift of life. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be intentional. Don't exist by default, live by design. And let's be honest, even the person who invented sliced bread probably didn't aim for average. If they had, we'd all be tearing bread with our teeth like medieval warriors. So yeah, shoot higher. Number 2, why the world ignores the average. Let's do a quick memory test. Name the 8th best painter from the Renaissance. Exactly. The world remembers the Michelangelos, not the Mechangelos. That's because the average is invisible in a world that rewards excellence. We scroll past average. We forget average. We ignore average. This isn't just harsh reality, it's motivational fuel. It means that the moment you rise even slightly above the average, you enter a league of your own. Excellence is a magnet for opportunities. People remember you. They seek you out. And yes, they even copy you. Poorly, but still. Average might keep you safe, but it also keeps you silent. It's the warm blanket of obscurity that slowly smothers your potential. Stoicism says don't be distracted by praise or criticism, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't make an impact. The point is to live in alignment with virtue, and virtue never settles. So if you're going to be remembered, don't be the kind of good barista who sometimes makes foam hearts. Be the guy who steams milk so well it gets applause. The world may not hand you a trophy, but it will remember how you made them feel. Number 3, the dangers of settling for less. Settling for average is like being the Titanic, but only half sunk. You're still going down. It just takes longer and nobody writes a movie about it. The problem with just enough is that it kills your spirit slowly while convincing you you're doing fine. In Stoic terms, every day you spend not growing is a day you train yourself to stay small. Epictetus said, "How long are you going to wait before you demand the best for yourself?" The answer? Too many people say forever. But not you. Not anymore. Here's the irony. Most people who settle do it to avoid discomfort. But the real discomfort comes later when the regret hits. When you realize you played small in a world that desperately needed you to play big. When you look back and see a life of quiet nothingness. And hey, even your comfort zone gets boring after a while. You ever notice how the same old routine starts feeling like a looped playlist of elevator music? That's the sound of average. Change the tune. Number 4, how to start aiming higher. Aiming higher doesn't mean burning out or working 23 hours a day while living off instant noodles. That's ambition without wisdom. Stoicism is about inner mastery, directing your energy where it counts. Want to be excellent? Start with your thoughts, your habits, and your attitude. You don't climb Mount Olympus in one day. You start by showing up every day with intention. Want to stand out? Become dependable. Want to lead? Master discipline. Want respect? Respect yourself first. Average doesn't require much, but excellence is a system. Here's a small hack. Compare yourself to who you were yesterday, not who someone else is today. Aiming higher is personal. If you write better, think better, act better today than yesterday, you're already leaving the average behind in the dust. And by the way, remember to laugh at yourself. Excellence doesn't mean being boring or robotic. If you trip while chasing greatness, do it with style. Add a backflip. At least people will remember it. Number 5, legacy, impact, and the echo you leave behind. Stoicism teaches us that death is coming, not to scare us, but to clarify what matters. If your time is limited, why live it in the shadows? Why be the background character in your own story? Aim higher not because you want praise, but because you want your life to mean something. People who aim higher live differently. They speak with conviction. They act with clarity. They don't just exist, they build. And those buildings become shelters for others. They inspire. They shape generations. Even if no one remembers their name, their impact lives on. Ask yourself, what will your echoes sound like? Will it be a whisper of mediocrity or a roar of resilience? Will people remember that you passed through, or that you passed through and mattered? So don't be afraid to aim higher. Don't let average be your ceiling. The bar isn't just there to measure, you're meant to raise it. And who knows, maybe one day, they'll build a statue of you. Just make sure it's not for inventing lukewarm soup. Number 6, why comfort is the enemy of greatness. Stoicism never claimed life should be comfortable. It claimed life should be meaningful. Yet today, we chase soft pillows and instant noodles like they're the keys to fulfillment. Comfort zones are like emotional bean bags, easy to sink into, but hard to get out of. And nobody ever became remarkable sitting on a bean bag. Marcus Aurelius woke up every day and reminded himself, you could be dead tomorrow. That's not morbid, it's motivational. Why waste your life being comfortable when life itself is temporary? When we choose ease over excellence, we trade legacy for a nap. Here's the trap. Comfort feels like reward, but often it's sedation. It numbs the urge to rise. It whispers, you're doing fine, when in reality, you're only surviving, not thriving. Aiming higher requires friction, effort, and growth pains. But it also breeds fulfillment, respect, and impact. So if you ever catch yourself saying, this is good enough, slap that thought with a cold Stoic reminder. You weren't born for enough. You were born for greatness. And maybe take a cold shower too. Comfort won't see that coming. Number 7, why being remembered isn't about fame. When we say no one remembers the average, we're not chasing celebrity, we're chasing contribution. The Stoics believed in living well, not being well known. But when you live well enough, it echoes. That's not ego, it's influence. Think of someone who changed your life. Maybe they never had 1 million followers. Maybe they weren't even on social media, but they stood out because they lived differently. They had presence, depth, and a personal standard that made others silently raise theirs too. Legacy isn't measured in likes, it's measured in lives touched. You don't need a documentary about you, but if someone changes because of you, you're already unforgettable. Stoicism teaches us to detach from fame, but never from impact. So, no, you don't have to go viral. Just don't go invisible. Don't live in a way that makes people forget you were even here. If your life were a movie, would anyone watch past the trailer? Number 8, the mental shift that changes everything. The real war isn't with the world, it's with your mindset. Stoicism is like mental weightlifting. It teaches you to reframe pain, reset expectations, and respond with power. To aim higher, you first have to think higher. You probably heard people say, I'm just not that kind of person. That's average thinking with a fancy excuse. Greatness isn't inborn, it's chosen. Daily, hourly, minute by minute. Epictetus was born a slave. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire. Both chose excellence. Once you decide average is no longer an option, your decisions change. You stop saying yes to distractions. You stop spending your life explaining your goals to people who don't have any. You start acting with purpose. And even when you fail forward. And if your mind ever says, "Why bother?" answer it like a Stoic. Because virtue demands it. Because time is short. And because I refuse to leave this world without leaving it better. Bonus points if you say it in a gladiator voice. Number 9. What excellence actually looks like daily. Aiming higher isn't about grand gestures. It's about micro decisions stacked over time. Stoicism is practical. Excellence is built in silence, not spotlights. It's waking up early, keeping promises, and doing what you said you'd do, especially when no one's watching. Think of it like this. Average says good enough. Excellence says, can I improve this? The difference isn't talent, it's intention. You don't need to be a genius. You just need to give a damn consistently, even on bad days, especially on bad days. Most people want to be exceptional until it costs their comfort, ego, or time. That's where average takes the lead. But if you keep showing up, if you keep sharpening your skills, your character, and your courage, you'll wake up one day and realize you passed average a long time ago. Also, don't wait to feel motivated. Motivation is like Wi-Fi, great when it's there, unreliable when you need it most. Train discipline instead. That's how empires were built, and how you'll build your legacy. Number 10. What you'll regret if you don't aim higher. Fast forward to the end of your life. Will you smile, knowing you gave your all, or flinch at the memories of missed chances and low standards? Regret doesn't haunt the bold. It haunts the careful, the cautious, the comfortable. The Stoics were obsessed with mortality, not out of fear, but out of focus. Memento mori isn't dark, it's liberating. It means you don't have time to be mediocre. You don't have time to wait for the perfect moment. If you're breathing, the moment is perfect. Imagine this. You were capable of excellence, but chose average because it was easier. Now multiply that by a lifetime. Ouch, that's a heavy silence. That's the cost of not aiming higher. So don't play it safe. Safe is a lie dressed in sweatpants. Instead, live in a way your future self would be proud of, even if it terrifies your current self. That's how you become unforgettable. You're not here to blend in. You're here to break the mold. So like this video, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment below telling me one way you'll raise your standard this week. Remember, no one remembers the average, so don't be it.